Oh, we just wanted to make sure that the record. Oh, it says recording. Jesus Christ, we gotta get used to this whole thing. But guys, this is the Big Pop Theory podcast. This is the YouTube channel. We did the Invasion review, and we decided to do it again. We want to continue to review some old school wrestling content. Last year, I'm sorry. The last time we did it, it was 2001. We're going to the year 2000, which was 25 years ago. Gentlemen, 25 years ago, we were in elementary school making our way to junior high. And we're getting to talk about SummerSlam. This was your pick, Rich Kings. But let me do the introductions real quick. I'm one of your hosts. I am the Great Grand Slam Poobah, a.k.a. Bad Guy Jack. I'm joined with Rich Kings, and we are joined with Easy or Jason. We don't know which person is behind the mask. I just know when we hit the record, he was there. But gentlemen and Monster, how are you? We'll start with you, Rich Kings. How are you?
I'm doing great. I didn't know we were doing cosplay. I got you next week.
Jason or Easy? I don't know. Okay, there we go. I mean, if that's what we're going to get throughout the entire show, it's going to be quite quickly. But guys, you're talking. What did you say?
Yeah, thanks for having me once again. Last week was fun. Let's see if Rich Kings can stomp me this week and top me this week. I will say, pause.
So you guys know we are New Yorkers. That's just because there's some people who don't get that. Like, they're not from New York, and they're just like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, okay. But we're talking about SummerSlam. It was in 2000. They were in the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's the home state of the Hardy Boyz. This date was August 29th, 2000. And we got an opening video. I did want to put a little note here for that because I just thought the opening video was pretty cool. It was a video with Freddie Blassie, WWE legend. And he's watching this TV. It's the build for the triple threat with Rock, Triple H, and Kurt Angle, which is the main event of SummerSlam. And I put this as a note here because one of the things that intrigued me was, like, there was these, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, but there was individuals with a mask on and they were dancing. And when I looked, I said, yo, aren't those the same like people that's in the Christian's video when he separates from Edge? Do you remember that? Where it was Christian, you're last, you're on your own. And I was looking and I was because I don't remember this at all, but it just hit a memory for me. But I'm interested if you gentlemen peeped that or thought that. So what did you guys think about if you have any thoughts about this? What did you guys think about this intro? We'll start with you, Rich Kings.
Yeah, the intro was pretty dope for, especially the time I was on. It did look kind of similar now that you mentioned. I didn't think about that when I was watching it. The little dancing and the little the black and white kind of effects. It was pretty good. But I didn't think about the Christian piece. Good call out there. What about you, Easy?
I thought it definitely was a sentimental or creative intro. Him watching highlights or, reels from previous matches and stuff. I thought it was dope. I thought it was very touching at the moment, including a legend in there. That was very something that the creative team did a good job with.
It's funny. This is the second throwback pay-per-view that we have reviewed. And I feel like one of the things for us, right? Like, I would know sometime when me and Rich Kings would chatter and whatnot, we'll talk about wrestling. Some of the things that we miss were like those hype up videos, those build up. Like, I hope eventually that we review either Survivor Series. I feel like this was an Armageddon, though. It was Armageddon 2002, and it was like, the end is... And it was like stuff like that kind of got you hyped about, oh, man, what's going to happen here? And how is this pay-per-view going to turn out? And I just thought that was a really cool open, and it made me go like, I kind of miss stuff like that, creativity, things like that. So I thought that was cool, and I just wanted to make that a quick note, and I think it was cool that they include Freddie Blassie. Obviously, he was before our time. I got familiar with him because I remember in the Invasion storyline, he stood up and he was the guy in the wheelchair, and he said, like, you're Team WWF and you got to take out these interlopers and all this stuff. And that's how I got familiar with him. But I didn't realize, obviously as a kid, I probably just thought it was an old man just being, just an old man for the video, not realizing who he was. But we got that opening, and I'm interested in hearing, we're going to start with you, Easy. So the opening matches, we have Too Cool and Rikishi with, I feel so uncomfortable saying this, guys, but they came out with some hoes. One of them was Victoria. I don't think they ever said the other female's name, but obviously Victoria. I will sit here and say I think she should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think she had a really good run in WWE and a very, very unique. I want to talk about Victoria here real quick. If it's okay with you, gentlemen. But Victoria was just something so different in 02, right? Like, you know, I feel like for me it was the first crazy, and it's hard for me to say that because there was in WCW it was Daphne. So I don't really want to say Victoria was the first, but it was something the way how Victoria brought this character out that really stood out. I mean, the music was great. The video was not the video. What they used to call it, but you know, like the video for when they came out. I thought that was well done, and she had a badass as a finisher. The Widow's Peak. I feel like that was so different for us when we were kids. Like that was such a move. Like wow, she. I don't know. It was so cool, and I just wanted to give Victoria her flowers. So, did you have any memories or thoughts about Victoria? Easy.
Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
She was a diva, correct?
Mhm.
The divas, outside of Lita, Trish, man, I remember Victoria, but it's very vague. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, I have to watch a little bit more of her matches to, refresh my memory of who she was.
And you know what? I can sit here and tell you right now, the way that we are starting to review some old school content and stuff like that, you will remember Victoria. You'll be like, matter of fact, she had that match with Trish Stratus. It was a street fight in Survivor Series 2002, and that's how she became the women's champion. I'm trying to think of something else. I remember she beat up Christy Hemming. That was pretty cool. And I liked Christy Hemming. But Rich Kings, I know you have some memories of Victoria. What do you got here? What do you have any? What's your memories of her?
You know, that was my memory of her, that street fight or hardcore match, whatever it was, that she hit like Trish. I think most of her great work was against Trish Stratus, to be honest with you.
That's
I think that it's like a year or two peak, and I think it was great for her. Unfortunately, she's not as, I wouldn't say as celebrated as most of these other women come around. But I think when I think about her, I think she was more lasting in the ring to me more than a Molly Holly, more than when I see like an Ivory wrestle. Like I think for her as a wrestler and where she came from, that 2-year stretch was pretty good.
Yeah, she had a good run. I mean, 02 to 04 was really her peak. She stayed to, I want to say 08, 09, because then she goes to TNA, and she had some really good matches in TNA as well. Like with Mickey James, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on some of the women that she had some really, really good matches with. But she was always like, and I get what you're saying, where she didn't have that long run where like a lot of women did and they get celebrated for. But I think of someone like Jazz, who didn't really have a long run in WWE. And I still sit here and go like, man, give her. And I love that people are doing that today, where they are giving her flowers, because she was just a different kind of female. I mean, we could talk about Jazz, and I'm sure we're going to be reviewing a pay-per-view with Jazz, but I'm just sitting there saying Jazz deserves her damn flowers. The same thing with Victoria. But we get this opening match. Too Cool and Rikishi, like I said, with some hoes, and they take on right to censor Stevie Richards, the Good Father, and Bull Buchanan. I'm sorry, I had to make sure I got the name right. I apologize. This match, we'd like to talk about time. This match did not go long, 4 minutes and 57 seconds. Easy, giving you the floor. What did you think about this match in the short time that they had?
Surprisingly, I really liked this match. I think it was a perfect opener for the SummerSlam. Too Cool and Rikishi always gets the crowd going, as you know. The crowd was definitely into it from the bell. RTC at the time was such a great stable for, what's going on in that, at the Attitude Era and all the crazy stuff. So we needed kind of, to make a joke about, kind of censoring what's going on at the Attitude Era at that time. So I thought they was a cool stable. What else? I think Grandmaster Sexy took some really stiff bumps from Steven Richards, a couple of power bombs and suplexes and stuff. And man, it was nice watching his body just bounce off the canvas like that. But yeah, I really liked the match. I think RTC was right to win. I kind of like the transition that the Godfather made into the Good Father. I thought it was funny, and how Rikishi came out with a couple of his old holes. it was it was a funny match. I really enjoyed it. I really thought that it was a great setting the tone for the night. It's so funny over there, Rich Kings.
Please take the floor. Yes, please take the floor, Rich King.
You know, I mean, I think when I was a kid watching Right to Censor, right, it was like not it. But now growing up and watching Right to Censor, like, you know, it was needed, right? I think like there was so much going on, and you needed like a villain stable, right? Because DS is at the top at the time, and then there's like what else was really happening back there. And I think Steven Richards did a nice little assembly of the talent that he had over there, eventually getting Val Venus and Ivory and stuff like that. So I think at the time, like, they were obviously, we didn't want to see them win, but it was right that they did want to continue growing their evolution. Even it was I wouldn't even say it was a fast-paced match. It was just some good highlights, like, you know, with the Good Father knocking down the hose, like that was just just a match like get out of my face. That was pretty good. Like it was just a lot of action. And I think when you have like the Right to Censor, it kind of showed a little bit more of the Bull Buchanan's and the Good Father. Like we know what the Godfather was, but I don't think that he would have gotten the same run if he was by himself. So I do think that stable Right to Censor, Steven Richards was able to bring a little bit more out of them. I would say that how the match ended was kind of like, I want to say annoying, but just like, of course, Sky Gelati. Like I watching that again. It's like, how long is this trance going to be where you're looking at the fans? And then the WORN, like, he should have got kicked in the face. It was perfect. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. You just took a little bit too long. So, not a little bit, a lot too long. So, the ending was, you know, it was pretty accurate in how it should have been. But it was okay to open the match. It was okay opening the match to me.
No, I think this is a fair point. I mean, I thought the match was okay. I mean, it was 4 minutes, so it's really hard for me to sit here and say, like, man, this was a masterpiece or anything like that, right? But I am totally with you. Like, I hated the Worm as a kid, and I hated it as an adult. I just thought it was so – look, crowd interaction, he did the right thing. The crowd was into him with the WORM. But just as someone being like, how long am I laying here? And even the finish, I feel like you could have just did this to begin with, and I would have been done. So I've always hated the Worm. So when I saw Steven Richards hit the Steven kick on him, I said, good. Something I wanted to take out away from here was it's so funny because I want to say this was okay. So this is in August. I want to say No Mercy came out in September or October that year. But when they came out with the white gear and everything like that, I immediately was like, yo, that's the No Mercy gear. You know, I was kind of pumped about that. There was No Mercy. But I'm with you about Right to Censor. Right to Censor was a group when we were like, I think about when, you know, because that's the fun thing about reviewing these shows as adults now is that you remember what you felt when you was a kid. And as a kid, we all moaned every time they won. I think to the point we were like, why do they keep winning? But it was the right move. I do agree it's the right move to do. I mean, I forget in between how long this group was going, but I mean, you want to put some steam and some heat here, and I thought they had some pretty fair heat. I'm not going to say they had nuclear heat, but I thought they had some pretty fair heat, at least on this show that we were watching. I thought they had some really, really good heat. People hated them. You know, the white shirts, the black pants. I like the call that JR said where he said, I'm glad Steven Richards is wearing boots because I got tired of seeing his white socks. He might be wearing white socks underneath those boots. I was like, okay, JR, we get it. You hate this man. And we're going to get to JR later because he called someone a son of a bitch. And I just laughed because I'd be like, JR, just do not care. I feel like they just say, just put the mic on and just go, JR, go. But I thought this was a fairly decent opening match. So yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know. I've always got a kick out of the Good Father because I always just thought that name was so silly. Like they just added another O there. So I thought that. We got a segment here that showcased the stuff with Kurt Angle and Stephanie from that past SmackDown. I'm sorry, I said Friday, but SmackDown used to be on a Thursday. That's how you know we're the older guys. We were watching SmackDown on a Thursday. But we get the Kurt Angle and Stephanie segment from that Thursday, and Coach tries to get a word with Kurt Angle, but he's like, hey, I'm trying to look for Stephanie. Coach then tells Stephanie that Kurt is here. But Coach is like kind of a scumbag here because he's like, hey, you know, Kurt is here. And you know, Stephanie's like, he is? I'm like, Coach, like, calm down before Triple H beat you up. Like, please chill because you're really trying to like sabotage a marriage here. Please chill. Shane's interviewed and he's asked about the stuff with Stephanie and Kurt. But he sees Steve Blackman and he says, "Oh, it's time to go." I don't know if you gentlemen have any thoughts about that, but I'll just give you the floor. What's up with you, Rich Kings? Do you have any thoughts about this Kurt Angle, Stephanie, Triple H triangle segment thing?
No,
Angle.
I mean, I think that's what made WWF back then like interesting, right? The little cut scenes, the little things going back on the stage, the entrances, and that kind of translated into the video games. But like nothing, honestly, no comment there to see what's going on because it was just a continuation of what happened on Thursday Night SmackDown. To your point, so it was all right.
Okay, easy.
I loved it. I love the fact that they had a soap opera drama type feel to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's it's you got Kurt Angle hitting on someone's wife. It's perfect for Vince's attitude of it. It fits the tone. I thought it was a great storyline. That's one thing about these pay-per-views. It's about the storyline for me more so than some of the in-ring work. You know what I mean? So leading up to this main event with these guys, I felt Kurt Angle and Triple H, the dynamic was great with Stephanie, and she was playing into it. You know what I mean? And she, it was kind of like, which way are we gonna go? Are we gonna get Stephanie on Kurt Angle's side at the end of the night? So I liked it. I really liked the angle that they no pun intended. I liked the angle that they took.
Ah, look at that! You made it funny. You didn't even try, and you made it funny. He said, "Like, hey, I like."
Mm-hmm. I'm getting every day getting better. Just greasing those gears.
There we go, greasing them gears. There you go. There we go. I'm going to give you the floor first here, Rich Kane. We have DX members, Road Dogg, Jesse James going against X-Pac. They show the tensions, the tension between them on Raw that week. X-Pac and Road Dogg got into an argument. X-Pac headbutts Road Dogg. Road Dogg falls through a table. X-Pac he feels guilty about it. And then on SmackDown, there's a handicap match. It's Road Dogg and X-Pac against Undertaker. And Road Dogg just leaves X-Pac. And X-Pac gets the last. Listen, X-Pac was really good at getting his ass kicked. He was like a really good seller. But one of the things I do want to say that I liked, and I don't know if it was just strictly because of this pay-per-view or if this was something that they did on Raw and SmackDown too. So if you guys remember, please correct me. But like they showed on SmackDown when Xbox gets the last ride, but in the video, it's like boom, boom, and like in different angles. And it kind of remind me, and once again, I'm making a reference here, WWF No Mercy, when you hit the special and they hit, like they showed the finish like maybe 4 or 5 times or something like that. I forget exactly. But, this match, it goes 4 minutes and 31 seconds. And I was just telling you before we started recording one, Rich Kings, before you take the floor, that I did not realize when we were kids, these matches did not go long. Like it just never dawned to me. But please take the floor.
Yeah, the match was pretty okay. I think that obviously the DS members going against each other, like I don't know if it's gonna be a long, drawn out match, right? But with X-Pac, like I was never growing up, I was never really a big X-Pac fan. And the DX, like for all the DX members, I'll say Road Dogg's my least favorite. So with this match, my interest in the match was like, I don't remember watching this match as a kid because I just wasn't interested in either one of those characters. But I would say the match itself was pretty good. Like, X-Pac, a couple of his moves, Road Dogg hits his moves. I love like the fans were behind Road Dogg, which is like a little different. I'm just not used to that. And and JR and King, like the commentary for this match, I think really played a role in this match. Throughout the whole night, that we talked about this last time, chemistry matters, right? So they were able to paint the story and bring along, in case you didn't remember, or in case you didn't know, in case you weren't there, how this match was. The spinning on the back of Road Dogg was kind of like, what are we doing here? But just X-Pac in general, I personally feel not watching back at it, it was the right decision for X-Pac to win. How he won too. And honestly, that's what I honestly feel. The referee, don't know how you missed a low blow. Just like we need him now because some more referees, they like we talked about this last year, they just don't know how to mind their business. But he saw the low blow, he turned his face like nothing happened. And then X-Pac his X Factor. So I thought that was interesting way to end it. Obviously Road Dogg gets his revenge at the end of the match. But I think like the match was pretty solid for what it was, like just a thrown together match with not that much of a build, like only a weak build. I think it was good enough.
Yeah, I think this match, because I forget how long the tensions was, but I'm with you. I not for nothing. I always thought the Road Dogg stick was kind of corny. Once again, crowd participation. I'm just in the minority where I just go like, eh. But X-Pac, I always thought he was like the I don't say always, right? I don't want to lie here, but like, I mean, we were kids. You remember like when we were like pretend to be wrestlers. I'm sure I was like, oh, I'm X-Pac. And I just thought there was something about him and I couldn't figure it out. But I'm watching back. I'm like, oh, he was a pretty solid wrestler. And I just didn't know how to put it in words, obviously, because I was a kid. But I was like, man, he always gets his ass kicked. That was, I think, my only issue. I was like, I always, like when he won this match, I kind of thought about me as a kid, like, oh, he won, because I just felt like he didn't win a lot. Like a lot of times I saw him getting choke slammed. I felt like everybody was getting a piece of X-Pac's ass and just beating him. So seeing him win here, and I'm trying to figure out when exactly this X-Pac heat started, because we reviewed Invasion. We talked about the X-Pac match against Billy Kidman, and the crowd, I feel like, was more behind Billy Kidman than X-Pac, because you hear people saying X-Pac sucks, and you hear that here too, a little bit here. I don't think it's as aggressive as it is in 2001, but you hear it. It's like a little spatter of it, if you will.
I think it kind of started like when he was at the X Factor. So
Okay.
I think with him and Albert, and obviously the transition with him and just incredible stuff like that. I just don't think it was just like when you think about DX, I just think about, for me, like he was probably the weakest link, right? And I think about one of my fondest memories with X-Pac as a kid was when he was with Kane. And he turned on Kane for him, right? So it was like, I think for me as a fan, that was beginning and end for me for watching X-Pac as a kid. What about you, Easy?
Oh, yeah, please take the floor.
Well, to piggyback up both you guys are saying about X-Pac, I think we all remember Power Rangers as a kid, right? I think X-Pac reminds me of like the putties, one of the putties. Like just get, we just kick his ass, get him out the way before he gets a Rita or Zordon or whoever the hell the villain was. But X-Pac was just somebody that just came in and some quick work, But I did some little bit of research. I didn't realize he had 10 years at this time, 10 years in the game. And that goes to kind of what the great Grand Slam Puba's point was about his in-ring work and how, X-Pac was a seasoned vet at this time. He's a great in-ring wrestler, and I just think that he started off as the 1, 2, 3 kid, and then he had his little run in WCW as 6, and he came back as X-Pac, and the DX faction. I think he helped the DX faction, be what it was with just the characters and the personality. So. But back to this match. I think that I like this match than most people. I'm probably part of the minority, but I just think two teammates trying to prove, who's the bigger dog here was interesting. I think that X-Pac should not have won this match. I think Road Dogg was the fan favorite, and I think Road Dogg should have took the W, but he didn't. Obviously, sorry. This is just my brother. So he took the match, and I think Road Dogg should have took the W, but it didn't happen that way. So,
to answer your first question, you said to see who's the big dog is clearly Road Dogg, if I'm being honest here. But you're talking about X-Pac, and I do like when we take a moment to highlight wrestlers just to highlight them. X-Pac, I mean, he's somebody. When you said DX, I mean, the original group was Triple H, Shawn. I'm going to still include Rick Rude and China. But when Triple H formed that DX Army, if you want to call it that, X-Pac was a great choice. I think he was perfect for it, especially when he got let go from WCW and he was in the NWO. I mean, this guy is in part of 2 iconic factions. There's not too many people who could say that. I guess you could say Shawn Michaels too, but I don't think a lot of people count that NWO WWE, right? Like that one wasn't. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts, Rich Kings. I mean, so you go like this. What's that about? Please.
I mean, listen, Shawn Michaels my favorite wrestler of all time. So
sure.
I think with Shawn, like my fondest moment of him being a DS is kicking Booker T of the NWO. Like he was just there just to, like, I want to say shine some light. And I remember we talking about the wrestling games, talking about No Mercy, right? So remember, Shut Your Mouth, that NWO entrance, like him coming out, that was a thing. And him wearing that Kango hat and just the NWO attire.
Oh, that was a Kango hat. Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is just one of those people, man. And I think if you would have put Shawn Michaels in any group, it would have been fine. But him and NWO, it doesn't It doesn't have that last drop.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Nash brought him out. Like it was great for the time to get people into like in the beginning of his return. So it was good for that. But when he actually was like obviously I'm gonna answer the trivia question with Shawn Michaels in the NWO, the answer is yes. But if you think about just lasting power, like I would equivalent like think more important to NWO than him, you know. So I just think that Shawn Michaels is just one of those unique characters that just, hey, we're gonna want you to do this for a couple of weeks, sure, let me do it, and then back to business, right? So
Back to
it was like
business.
a couple of weeks, no more than a month. It was.
Yeah, I would say it was like a month. I mean, he didn't stay in it long. It was June, and by July, the NWO was gone.
Yeah, I feel like who could they replace Hogan with? It was like, yeah, let's put Shawn Michaels there. Making the choices. He was the decision maker. Who's in, who's out, who should do this. Like he was just great.
No, and you know what? It was fun. I'll sit here and say there were some fun moments with him. I do laugh at the thing with Booker T, and he says, "You're the problem," and you know, like I did think it was funny, but I do think like when you think of NWO members, I don't even think he really chops it to the top 10. You know, like yeah. So okay, even my man's right here. He's the Shawn Michaels guy, and he knows it. And he knows this. So let me get to the next segment. We have Eddie Guerrero and China. They have this segment together. Eddie tells China that, you know, so they're going to have this match. It's the Intercontinental Championship on the line in a tag team match. Eddie Guerrero and China are going against Val Venus and Trish Stratus. They have a segment. Him and Eddie and China are together. And Eddie tells China, like, it doesn't matter if he wins or she wins. He's not the jealous type. He's not, whatever happens, happens. And China tells him, like, hey, well, one of us is going to get lucky. You know, Eddie goes like, oh. Then they go into Trish Stratus. They go in the locker room with Trish and Val Venus. And it's so funny because it's so funny because Val Venus at this point, I mean, he was the big Val Bosky, right? This is 2000, so like 99, 98. He was a whole different character. He's not that same character anymore. So he's trying to be taken serious. You don't have the long hair anymore, short hair. But Trish says something like, oh, well, you know, she's not going to be a good centerfold. I would make a good centerfold. Then asks Val Venus this, and Val Venus says, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know why. It just cracked me up. Like, this guy sounds very upset. And he tells Trish, like, you need to keep your end of the bargain. And then Trish is like, I'm the reason you are the Intercontinental Champion. Do you feel like, let me ask you guys this. If you thought about Intercontinental Champions, if someone said, was Val Venus an Intercontinental Champion, would you be able to get that right? Would you be like, would you know that off rip?
Not necessarily. I mean, maybe like in one of those, maybe like for a day, maybe, you know, lost it the next
No, like
day.
a trivia. It's trivia. Like if they ask you that in trivia, and you had to say it's no. Okay.
I wouldn't have thought.
What about you, Rich Kings?
Yeah, I don't think I would have thought that. I thought you were more of a European guy than Intercontinental.
A European guy. And when he says that, he means the European Championship. He doesn't mean. I'm so sorry.
Same here. I was thinking European as well. Man, me and this guy,
okay.
Me and Rich Kings, man, we need to do a DNA test because we'd be on like the same frequency. I don't know. It's scary.
Do you believe this, Rich Kings?
yeah, I do. Ese Rios.
Lovely. This match, it was for the Intercontinental Championship. Like I said, intergender tag team match. This match went 7 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm going to give you the floor first here, Easy, just to see how much you and Rich Kings are in sync here. What did you think about this match?
This match it felt a bit lopsided, you know, especially for Trish. I don't think she was quite ready to be in this type of match. But it was a fun dynamic, you know, pairing Eddie and China. It was a cute little couple, I guess you could say. Two different personalities, you know, that worked well together. The build up, like, it did make sense, you know, with the whole Trish and helping Val Venus win it, and then him taking on Eddie and China. But the finish, I like the finish. As expected, China, you know, just manhandled my baby girl Trish. Hey, got another guest. So yeah, I feel like the finish was strong. China with the overhead suplex, and then I still didn't like seeing Trish lose though. You know, I never liked seeing her lose. So, but you know, it was okay. You know, but it wasn't one of my favorite matches of the night. It was probably on the lower tier of, you know, one of the matches that I was looking forward to seeing.
Rich Kings, please take the floor, sir.
Yeah, I think the match was, it was good at the time. You think about an intergender match, and it was good to see like China. Obviously, she was wrestling the men for a while, right? She had that Chris Jericho feud that kind of started off her with the wrestling with the men, and this was just made sense. Listen, I agree. I don't like seeing Trish get it destroyed at that, but this was obviously the beginning of her career. But I'm in agreement with King. So, like I said, I love the announcing and how the announcer was talking the match. And when she did that press and they actually won, I said the same thing, like, what? How? Like, what King said.
Not to cut you off, was that her finisher, though?
No. That's what made it. That's why I was like, he's on aligned with me. Like, how? Like, what happened? Like, I don't ever remember seeing a match like they had at that time where a regular move just won. Like, if somebody just got hit with a suplex and they won, I'm like, how? Like,
right.
Did we try? And I think what made it even better was at the end, Val Venis was asking her, like, what the hell was that? And she's like, I don't know. If I was Val Venis, I'm like, how did you lose to that? Like, what happened? I didn't say it was high and you fell down, but it's almost like you fought the top rope and you lost. Clumsy.
Well, you know what's amazing? I think with us watching it back now, right? And I love the point that you brought up. Like, this was the beginning of her career. She just debuted in 2000. Clearly wasn't a wrestler. That was something that they were even saying on air. Like, she's not really a wrestler. I mean, look at the footwear that she was wearing. They were not even like regular wrestling boots. Those look like high platform boots, right? But it was funny because I remember when I saw her lose to that, I did go like, that? Like, because like China would powerbomb. I'm like, I would have at least powerbombed her, and I would have said, okay, that's fine, right? Because China has beaten people with a powerbomb. But the military press, the only reason I chopped it up and gave it like a pass is because I was like, oh, this is because like honestly, that would have happened to 2002 Trish Stratus. That wouldn't have she wouldn't have lost to that. I'll say that she wouldn't have lost to that. But I laughed because you talk about the commentary, and I do want to kind of include some thoughts here. I didn't get to put down every little thing that they say because some of it was funny, some of it is memory. But how King, look, JR is really good at what he does. He's a straight man, right? But King is just so animated. He was like, yeah, stomp her. Now punch her. Oh, okay. No, stomp her. No, elbow. No, okay, stomp again. That's good. Good. Trish, put your hands up. It was so good. It was so good. I feel like it was lopsided. It was practically a handicap match, to be honest with you. But talking about it out loud with you guys, I'm not gonna say this is a 5-star at the Tokyo Dome or anything like that. Oh, this is something you need to watch back. But it was kind of entertaining. I'm not gonna hold you. It was I was thoroughly entertained. And I think the commentary, and I think it's so important. I love that you mentioned that a lot here when we talk about the shows, because sometimes we talk about the storylines, we talk about the in-ring action and stuff like that. But we need the commentary because that's the soundtrack. So when they're able to, because then you get a little bit more invested. They might talk about some gibberish stuff, but when they get into the match, you're like, sometimes they'll mention something that happened on a previous Raw or SmackDown. And you're like, oh, right. That's how we got here. Because I think that's super important. So match didn't go long. I look forward to talking about this match with you guys here. We had a singles match. I do remember this feud. It's just funny to me because like, I don't remember the entrance. So anyway, we have Jerry the King Lawler. I feel like there's a segment we're missing. We're not going to include every little segment, but the segment I did want to talk about. Do you guys remember WWF New York? Yeah, man. Like, I was seeing it. I went there only one time. I remember I was with my dad, and we went there in passing. I think we went in there. We didn't buy anything. My father was saying absolutely not. But, like, seeing WWF New York is like, man, what a time, man. Like, right there in 42nd Street. I don't know how the food was. I've heard people say the food was like, eh. But it just looked like it was such a cool time, especially if you was a wrestling fan, and you're just right there with a bunch of wrestlers. Like, they had one with they showed in the video. They had Mick Foley. He joined Michael Cole. I guess he was like a DJ, and they were just doing some interview. Trish Stratus was there, and I forget who else was there. There was a few other people there too, and they had Rock on the Fire. I just thought that was really, really cool. Like, it just brought me back to a time, and I just wanted to highlight that a little bit. But we had a match here. It was Taz versus Jerry the King Lawler. So this feud all started because Taz wanted to turn it up a little bit. Taz debuted in January of 2000, and I feel like he fizzled out around a little bit before Mania, I want to say. Like he came from ECW, former ECW champion, but it wasn't working out. And matter of fact, if I could throw us out here, when he came in with some steam because he went against he comes from ECW, right? Feared man in ECW, and his first opponent is Kurt Angle. I've heard a few times in interviews where he felt like when he got a big pop, and I think he hurt Kurt at Rumble, that after that, it was almost like they immediately was like, oh, nah. Because I'm trying to think of like, what did he do prior to this? And I really can't think. I know he was in that hardcore match at WrestleMania 2000. That was WrestleMania 16. But I can't think of anything. So just to get to the point here, we have Taz. He's talking about it's thug this, and he's beating up people randomly and just beating the hell out of people. Gets in JR's face. He tells King, stay out of this. King punches him, which leads up to this match. And I want to say the SmackDown before this event, that's when, and I remember JR was in the car, and I remember even as a kid, I said, why is he just randomly in the car? Like, and I forget, did Taz kidnap him? Was he just in the car waiting for the King to finish so they can go home? I don't remember, honestly. But JR's in the car, and I think he calls Taz something, and Taz smashed the, I'm so sorry. It's so unfortunate that JR always got his ass kicked, but like for Taz to just smash the glass there and then leave, and then and obviously that's going to play into this match here. I'm going to take the floor here first here, if you gentlemen don't mind. But I do like in the beginning, so Taz comes out, he comes out to his music, but he has glasses and he has a cane. And he's like, oh, I can't find a blind stick. I'm sorry. And he's like, I can't find you, JR. Is that you? And he's tapping the cane on the. I just thought that was funny. Like, I just thought that was so good. I don't remember that as a kid. You know how there's certain things you remember? I don't remember this, but I remember just kind of chuckling seeing this. Him and JR has a pretty solid match. I mean, this match didn't go long. I'm not going to sit here and go move for move with you guys, but this match goes. Hold on. I like to have the time thing. This match goes 4 minutes and 21 seconds. There's a spot where the referee, do you guys recognize who the referee was?
Mr. Long.
Ah, holla. It was T-Lo. He gets knocked down. And then Taz says, he said, great acting. He gets knocked out. Taz says, I'm going to choke him out. And something that I forgot to really mention this, but this plays into this. So JR and King, they have a jar full of candy. And I remember King said something about, oh, you like candy or something. You have a lot of candy. It was something where he referenced the jar, right? And, Taz says, I'm going to choke you out. He's choking out King. And then he tells JR, I'm going to choke you out. I don't know why. Why are we threatening JR? What is happening here? But he chokes out the King, or he's choking him out. JR gets up and he just smashes this bottle, this glass jar on Taz. Now, you talked about the referees. The glass was still in the ring and the ref still counted. Never asked anything about why is there glass in the ring. He saw the King pin him and said 1, 2, 3, I am out of here, bro. And he leaves. That was a ref who says, I don't get paid by the hour, because he did not care. And JR called Taz a bum and all kinds of nasty names and stuff like that. I think he called him a son of a bitch, because I just feel like that's JR's go-to word here. But the match was fine. I mean, there was a spot where Taz got power driver and got back up. I think that was their way of trying to make him look like the Taz of old, because that's what Taz would do in ECW. He got choke slammed once and got up, and then he I want to say he choked out the guy. So that was kind of a Taz thing. There's a move. I remember seeing the video, and this is a little backstage thing for us. You guys watching probably not going to get this, and that's fine. But there's a move where he Rhino powerbombs Taz. Taz get up and no sells it. And I said, hey, that's Mark. So we'll give it to you, Easy. What do you think about this match? 4 minutes and some change. What do you got?
It couldn't been over quick enough. I feel like this match was just I don't even know how we had this match. Honestly, nobody wants to see Jerry the King Lawler at this stage in his career. But other than that, Taz built up some, heck of the ECW resume, and he kind of just was like run-of-the-mill wrestler at WWE or F. You know what I mean? He wasn't who he was at ECW. I do want to throw out a fun fact though. This main event or this event, SummerSlam, did include one of the very few father-son duos on the card. Do you guys know who that was?
Please tell us.
Yeah, you saw what I was going to say. Grandmaster Sexay and
King.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That's right. That's true. That was your
right. I said we was aligned. I said it. So yeah, I just thought that it was nice to see JR get a little action, a little ring action, you know, a little outside ring action, but thought that was cool. But this was a match that I wasn't interested in at all. So I really don't have too much to say about this match, you know, outside of it was just lackluster. Taz should have destroyed the King, you know what I mean, or the Pawn, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, so that's that. I'll give the mic to Rich Kings.
Like me and Easy here, we're on lockstep. Like I listen, the best part of the matches is to your point that you mentioned earlier, with him coming into the ring after he was blind. That was great. This should have been a squash. There's no way you're telling me that Taz should not have wiped the floor with King. Like it should have happened. Like, and I do think that there must have been something wrong with the character backstage or something. He had to piss somebody off to lose to the King. The King at his age, like, what are we doing? And I thought my point would have been this, but Easy said it. Like I said, maybe just do this match of the card to have a father-son moment. Like I don't see the purpose of having this match. At SummerSlam at that, like this is like, what are we doing here? So it was okay. My other favorite part was Theodore Long, like great acting. Got knocked down. I'm gonna pretend like my head is not down. I'm not gonna see anything until it's time. Somebody rolled over and 1, 2, 3. Get me out of here. So he was on the same page as us. Like, thanks for nothing. Like it was not it. But you know, a little nice little spot for JR to get a little bit of revenge. But I do think, in all reality, Taz should have won.
You know, and I hear you, gentlemen. I guess I'm just on the same wavelength as you guys. Now, I do agree that Taz should have won if you're talking about realism here, but I do think that they found a nice out here because you're right. Taz should have won. But if someone hits you in the face with glass and stuff like that, and they wanted to stretch this out too. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, granted, because of stretching it out don't mean it's good or something that you might not be into. But I look at it from the wrestling realms of like, hey, they wanted to stretch, which they did the following month because that's when we get the debut of Raven. And I think they were just trying to like, I don't know. I just think that they found a really good album because the King was a little bit older, but I mean, granted, he's a lot older now. Obviously, we're talking about 25 years later, but like, I was moving around a little bit. I was trying to take care of some things, but like when he does a drop kick, and I don't know, was he like 40 at this time? Maybe, I don't know, but that's still impressive. But yeah, I just think they wanted to find. Yep.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but you said something about with the effect of getting hit in the face with a piece of glass will knock you out and help make you lose a match, but the match should have been over way long before that. It should have, as soon as this guy got in the ring with Taz, the match should have been over.
Listen, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, this match was already short, but I think if it was like a minute, I think we would all be like, what the hell was that? But I hear you, gents. Let's talk about this hardcore match. Shane has been trying to run away from Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman has been chasing after Shane McMahon. This match is for the hardcore championship. I'm laughing because you see the preview or the video of Shane winning the hardcore championship. But for me, it's always funny because I feel like anytime Shane McMahon was in danger, he just had mad friends. Like you see Edge and Christian in there, Tess and Albert. I'm not sure if there was anybody else, but I feel like it was those two teams. And you know, those two teams don't mess with each other. And it's like, well, we have a common friend. Let's help him. And to see him just jump Steve Blackman is fantastic. It's actually kind of comical because this is not the first time Big Show got jumped by like maybe 8 men prior to this. This is SummerSlam, maybe 2 months prior, I want to say, because Big Show turns face. That was the time. And Shane McMahon was so funny. I always thought when he called Big Show a pea brain was I still chuckle. Let's talk about this match here. Steve Blackman does Steve Blackman things, guys. Like he does a lot of the, the with the nunchucks and the kendo stick. That was his favorite item, I believe he said. He had an interview recently with Chris Van Vliet. I recommend it. I was never a big Steve Blackman guy. I'm not even going to pretend like, oh man, now I'm a Steve Blackman man. But the guy's tough as nails. He was somebody in the Attitude Era where he was legit. Like I legitimately, like looking back now, I was like, how did this guy lose? Like this guy should have probably never lost, if we're being honest. But they have this match. Everyone's going to want to talk about that spot, and we'll get there. Shane, he has his boys come out, Test and Albert. They were not on the card, so they said, well, I guess we're going to get on the card by beating the hell out of Steve Blackman. They beat the hell out of Steve Blackman, but Steve Blackman makes a comeback. Shane McMahon sees this, and he says, oh, no. And he's climbing up this big, what would you call this thing? I don't even know what to call it, but he's climbing up the stage of SummerSlam, and he's climbing up. Steve Blackman's right behind him, and he cracks him I want to say like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Shane falls. And then Steve Blackman adjusts and hits an elbow drop. So I watched this back. And there's a few things I want to sit here and say. The first I want to sit here and say is when I was listening to the Chris Van Vliet episode with Steve Blackman, he talked about, because he asked, like, was there any thought, like, what was the plan here? And he said, not much. It was, I hit you 1, 2, 3, and you fall. And he said he had to adjust. Because the spot, like where Shane fell, it wasn't a lot of room. So it was like when he fell, he had to really just make sure he fell in that position. And the same thing with Steve Blackman when he does the elbow drop. The other thing I got here when I was watching this, I was a little, and maybe it's just because I'm a little older now, but I was a little uncomfortable watching this because just a year prior, Owen fell. So when I see this gigantic fall, I was just kind of like, I didn't. I mean, I'm glad Shane was safe, obviously, but I don't know. It was just like a year after, and you see someone fall for a great height. I don't know. I kind of said for myself personally, but Steve Blackman, he gets the Hardcore Championship, and yeah, I mean Steve Blackman. I mean, he's as hardcore as they get. But I'll give you the floor here, Rich Kings. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me, Steve Blackman is probably the best hardcore champion we ever had. To me personally, I think that how he carried a belt, he was serious. It was his pride and joy. Like I don't think he ever went for any other belt in WWF at the time. It was just a hardcore belt on him. So like when you stay in he's a great person. Stay in your lane and own your approach. I know I'm great with hardcore. I'm not gonna go for Intercontinental. I'm not gonna go for that because I can't use my kendo stick and all these other things. So it just makes sense, right? So, like to your point, like how Edge and Christian helped him win the match, and then here comes TNA helping him win, trying to help him win. It made sense because Shane McMahon versus him 1-on-1 doesn't make sense. So I love the part where he's like Shane McMahon's throwing his little punches, and then Steve Blackman hits him, and it hits the other guy, then he gets knocked back down again. It just shows how resilient Steve Blackman was as a hardcore champion and how he was in WWF at the time. So I mean, you kind of called out all the other like big spots. One of my favorite spots where Shane McMahon did run into like the crowd, trying to escape, and Steve Blackman went to the other side, just hit him with a trash can, like not so fast. That was pretty funny too. But like overall, like the match was, a solid hardcore match. Him climbing up the side of the Titantron was, just dope. Just seeing how, he was saying the fall was kind of like eerie, but this is the hardcore championship we're talking about at the time. So I'm pretty sure they wanted to make sure that it was going to be a safe spot, and how he hit the elbow drop or elbow, well, it was a drop, it's just an elbow thing. It was pretty dope. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say they gave him 10 minutes and 17 seconds. I did want to touch on the elbow. In today's wrestling, that would happen and someone would kick out. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But Easy, please take the floor.
I'm disappointed in Rich King saying that Steve Blackman was his favorite or the best hardcore champion ever. Cactus Jack put the core in hardcore. Like, he's the greatest hardcore wrestler ever. Just to throw that out there. But this match was, look, man, if this match did not earn Vince's respect for Shane, nothing would. I think in the documentary, if I could remember, Shane saying he just wanted his dad to be proud of him during this match. And that bump off the Titantron was like, man, that was one of the greatest falls ever from that height, from any, in any match. That was next. That was probably the second greatest fall after Mick Foley's off the Hell in a Cell. That Shane fall, but Steve Blackman is just a silent killer. The kendo sticks is his signature. I thought that Shane stole the show. I thought even him losing, he won still. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed this match. Any hardcore match is always fun, but watching the boss's son, take those bumps and do all those death-defying jumps and hits and all of that, man, I think that he deserves a lot of credit for even attempting that. You know what I mean? So it was a good match. It was a great match for the card for SummerSlam. The crowd was into it. The crowd participation with them going, into the crowd and fighting, and Test and Albert coming out and helping Shane was right on the money. Shane can't handle Steve Blackman by itself, but yeah, that's really how I feel. I think Shane stole the show. That's where I'm at with this.
I did want to touch on, you were saying something about Shane. I mean, Shane definitely deserves a lot of credit. I mean, we're highlighting Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman is dope, honestly. Matter of fact, when I saw him in the Chris Van Vliet, and you see a picture, because he's not on social media, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews, he still looked really good for his age. I think he's like in his 60s or something, like early 60s, and he still looked good, and he still looked like he can kick everybody's ass. I do want to throw that out there. But Shane McMahon deserves a lot of props as well. I love something you were talking about, like, he took this bump, right? Shane McMahon is the boss's son. He never had to do any of that, but yet, if you look at his performances, the stuff that he did, you could talk about this hardcore match, but I think about like 2001 Backlash, where he does that big elbow drop on Big Show, or him trying to do a shooting star press. I mean, to his own father, of course, but like he has the what was that, a trash can, and I mean, just all the stuff that Shane was doing, and even that elbow drop. Like, I'm going to always think of Shane. I think that's going to be the first person I think about when it's like the elbow drop to the announce table, and the way Shane would just, and Shane had a beautiful elbow. I don't know if he could still do it, but the way he would wind it up and do it, like Shane was just, he was a very athletic dude. Like, so yeah, I think Shane definitely, like when you were saying, I just felt like, yeah, Shane definitely needs his.
And don't forget Shane's corner to corner.
Listen, man, I'm going to sit here and say he stole that from RVD. Now, the first time I saw it was Shane.
Okay.
But the first time I did see it was Shane, no doubt. But I'm going to call that the Van Terminator. But it was dope. Listen, the first time seeing it, and that's how he beat Vince at WrestleMania 17. Like, when you see that, I mean, I remember thinking, like, whoa, that's pretty freaking dope. Like, now Shane has some serious highlights. Like, there's a video on, like, social media all around. It might be on Instagram, might be on Facebook, all these things. And you see the stuff, and even people are like, Shane never needed to go this hard, but he did. Like, I felt like he went harder than a lot of the boys in the back, if you ask me personally. So I think Shane, Shane, yeah.
Let me ask you guys, do you think Shane got a double check? Like, yeah, he gets a check for helping his dad run, but you think he gets a double check for even wrestling?
No.
No? Come
I
on.
think so.
I would have to get a double check. Like, you got to pay me twice.
For what?
I mean, I'm running backstage, so I'm sure he's behind the scenes, and he's a wrestler. You know what I mean?
I think the way Shane was getting paid, I don't think he needed 2 checks. I need 2 checks. But that was the match. I'm pretty sure there was a segment, but I don't even have the notes for it. But let's talk about this match. I think these two had really great chemistry. Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho was a 2 out of 3 falls match. 13 minutes and 1 second. I will give Easy the floor first here. What do you think about this match between Chris versus Chris?
Man, I said to myself, this match was so good, or these performers were so good. We got it 3 times in one night. You know what I mean? With this 2 out of 3 falls match, I think it was that good, man. I think we had to see, it's just something for technical wrestling fans to enjoy. 2 of the best submission masters, counters, counter masters, the intensity of Chris Benoit and Jericho. Jericho's a great mic man, and Chris Benoit, he's a legend. Outside of the stuff that he did outside the ring, but he's still a legend in the ring. I enjoyed this match. It was gritty. Two warriors in the ring, and it really had a real technical wrestling vibe to it that I like. I didn't really like Jericho losing. I think that what Jericho represented at that time. He was a little bit bigger than Chris Benoit, so I think he should have been put over this match a little bit more. But these guys had amazing chemistry, and like I think Vince knew that. So it was just great, man. This was for like wrestling purists, you know what I mean? I think this was one of those matches for guys like that just really focuses on, you know, the technical stuff in the ring, and they look for certain, you know, bumps and counters and things like that. So
Okay.
I really enjoyed this match, man. Two Chris's.
Two Chris's. There we go. My takeaway from this match, you know, Chris Benoit wins the first fall. Jericho wins. I liked how Jericho did win the second fall. I've never liked the walls of Jericho. I always loved the Lion Tamer. The Lion Tamer just seems so legitimate, like because the walls was pretty much a Boston Crab, and I'm pretty sure it can hurt. I've seen someone lose to it in an MMA fight, so sure. But the Lion Tamer was just always so good. Like, you know, to put the knee in the back and you see the opponent just trying to like hang on, but it's so much pain. So I did love that he went and did that. I think these guys definitely complement each other. You talked about not liking the outcome. As a kid, I definitely did not like Benoit winning. But as an adult, I understand, especially when I feel like Jericho at this point was made. Benoit was still trying to be made. Debuted January of that year. And yes, he was the Intercontinental Champion. Then the following month, he had that match with The Rock. It looked like he won the WWF Championship, didn't win it. And then Rock, I guess, Rock was just beating everything. I won't even say Rock was beating everyone. That's not fair. But Rock beat Benoit. And I think it was just trying to get some heat back for whatever reason. I mean, I feel like if we watch back some of the stuff from 2000, we could figure out, oh, this is why they did this and this and this and this. But I wasn't mad at the outcome. I mean, sometimes the babyface has to lose. That's okay. And Jericho, once again, made, man. He was made. I think at this point, Jericho, I mean, that crowd was behind Jericho. And sometimes you have to deflate the crowd. Like, sometimes you have to take that away. Like, if all the baby faces won, it would be boring, right? So I think you got to balance it. I thought that was the right call. Rich Kings, please take the floor.
You know, this really was a great match. I think this was if when you think about what kind of wrestling match you would at pay-per-view, no belts on the line, just fight. It was great. Like, this was just, it's me versus you. I want to beat you 2 out of 3 falls. And once again, to me, I love the commentary, right? So Benoit, he gets that cripple crossface. He wins the first match, and you know, King. If you didn't know King was a wrestler, you would think that he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "Where's the rest? What do you mean? Where's the rest?" And they start fighting. And I know, as a fan, I don't remember watching back then, hearing the music played after somebody won the first fall. I'm like,
that was weird. Wasn't that weird?
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
So them playing their theme after one win, H was kind of like, what are we doing here? But it was actually pretty good because it played into King like, yeah, where's the rest? Like, no, there's no rest. But really, really physical match. They both hitting their German suplexes. They both show the technical / submission aspect. Yeah, the way how Benoit won kind of set up for the rest of the series, right? So this is SummerSlam 2000, right? So they have plenty of matches in the rest of their career. Like, I think the one that comes to my mind is the Royal Rumble match.
2001. Okay.
Yeah, like Chef's Kiss. It was just amazing, right? They even leveled up on that match. Eventually, I believe they won the tag team titles again together, like in 2024, something like that.
No, 2021.
21 they won it? Yeah, so they was just on a different level at that point, which was great to see. I think the match was great. How Benoit won with the tie hole in the ring. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Properly filled match. I just think that from top to bottom, when I think of, because this SummerSlam card was stacked tonight. We're gonna go into my favorite match after, but it's easy top 2, top 3 matches of the night. This is really good.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a story told here. These guys don't like each other. So there was a commentary, because I love that you mentioned that. So it makes me kind of like rewind my brain a little bit. But there's a part where, because the King was just so funny. Like, the King said something about, oh, he's dumb, he's a Canadian. And JR said, Benoit's a Canadian. Huh? He said, it's almost like, he was like, no, Jericho's an idiot, or something like that. Like, almost like he had to retract what he said. Like, I just thought that was so good. Like, JR is good too. JR is dope. JR, he plays his role very well. But the King, sometimes you just have to listen to what the King is saying, because it's like it can either go over your head, or you're just like, yo, did he just say that? I feel like your favorite match here is this next match here. I could be wrong, but I still want to start with you, One Rich Kings. Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. They had a tables, ladders, and chair match. Oh my!
Correct. Christian and Edge. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm the guy leading. Just let me lead, and you just wear the Jason mask, please.
No, I'm saying they always announce them Christian and Edge as they come into the ring.
What? What are you talking about?
Rich Kings, he knows what I'm talking about.
Rich Kings, what is he talking about? Correct me.
So his point is, like, when they come into the ring announcers is Christian and Edge. I think as fans we say Edge or Christian.
I kid you not. So heard that the announcer heard, didn't pay attention to that. I can tell you right now on this little docket that I have right here, it literally says Edge and Christian. When you play the WWE games, Edge and Christian.
No, it is Edge and Christian. I'm being funny. I'm making a point.
I am chuckling right about now. You can't see it because I'm wearing a mask.
Gotcha.
But I see you. You wanted to correct me. I was schooled. I would sit here and say I was schooled.
Classes. No, I wasn't correcting you. I was making fun of the ring announcers getting it backwards, saying Christian.
Who was the ring announcer? Was this?
They did it at Invasion too, right? Rich Kings. They did it. They do it all the time. Christian and Edge, and it's Edge and Christian.
You know what's so funny? Because so you say this, right? And this is something I never paid attention to, right? So this is actually like mind blowing to me, right? So I hear this, and it's crazy to me because one of the reasons when Christian separated from Edge was obviously because of the success, but I believe one of the things he was like, why is it Edge and Christian? Which I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good point. We have a group name. We want to have a group name, not my name first and then your name. Why am I second? But I still want to give you the floor here first, Rich Kings. We'll get this tag team match. I do want to throw this out here to you guys here. Last weekend, I don't even know when this video is going to be played because I did want to make this close to what is it, August 29th or something like that. I did want this close to the anniversary of SummerSlam, but I'll just throw it out here. I went to TNA's Slammiversary. It was a great time. It was fun. One of the matches was the Hardy Boyz against the Rascals, against a bunch of two other teams. I just can't think of the top of my head. Anyway, the Hardy Boyz won. And after the match, Bubba Ray comes out, or Bully Ray, whichever one you want to call him, comes out and he tells the Hardys, like, hey, at Bound for Glory, let's have one more match. He talked about 25 years ago, they had that epic table match at the Royal Rumble. And maybe we can put down the docket at some point, guys, if you want to do a Royal Rumble review. Maybe 2000 could be one of the ones if you guys are down for that. But he talked about that match and how epic it was, and he was talking about, let's see who's the greatest tag team of all time. He gave props to the Road Warriors, but between the Dudleys and the Hardys, they're gonna have one more time this year, 2025. I know you don't watch. I know you guys don't watch a whole lot of TNA, but what do you think about them going one more time this year? Start with you, Rich Kings, and then you could give your thoughts about the match.
Okay, yeah, I think one more time, great for nostalgia. I don't know what kind of condition Devon is. I feel like he's always we don't know. I haven't seen him in years, on TV. So I hope he's getting ready. I think it'll be a great match. I do disagree with Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, Mr. Ray, whatever he wants to call himself. They're not the greatest tag team of all time. Neither are the Hardys. To me, I would say either the New Day or the Usos would be a little bit more of the greatest tag team of all time, in my estimation. I'll give the edge to the New Day. But back to at this time, the triple threat tables as the chairs match. Just when you think about no pauses, this is the match. I think if I was a young wrestling fan, I want to come up with a wrestling name. Total nonstop action, right? So this is TNA. It was total nonstop action. From the bell, just the ladders, the chairs, the tables, the spots.
Oh my!
Got to throw in the old my piece in there. It was just so much happening. And then when adding Lita knocking them off the ladder, that Lita's always playing a role these days with the Hardys. But what I would say is this: it to me was the match of the night because of the bumps it took, just the precision. Watching this as a kid, is one thing. Like, oh, this is great. But then watching as adults, I have a bigger appreciation.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
to me, there has to be somewhere you're practicing this. And you put the table here, you put the table here. The ladder goes here so you can fall directly. When Matt Hardy fell off that ladder and didn't land into the crowd, I'm like, just
Oh,
mind blowing. It didn't make sense. Because even
oh,
though he
you mean
wants to aim for the
that back
top,
one, right? That
the
the
back
way he
one,
fell back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not too sure if I would want to be that guinea pig up
Trusting.
there. Like, are you sure I'm not gonna land in this crowd? Or you know I'm gonna hit the barricade or something? It was just perfect, like nails. Jeff Hardy, we know how we that's our personal favorite Hardy, but he was just like he put on the show in the match, right? When he was in the beginning of the ladder, right? He jumped over the ladder, hit that leg drop. Hardy hit a leg drop right before that, but it was like anyway, back to a real leg drop. Great. Jeff Hardy with a swanton bomb hitting nothing. Chef's kiss. But my thing was this: watching it, you see Bubba Ray Dudley. I'm getting off this damn table.
I know.
He's letting you know.
Dude, bro, did you see how he knocked down the it looked like he knocked down the cameraman. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to join in because that spot was dope. Funny.
Yeah, it
Go
was
ahead.
great. But half of his body is like, I'm getting off. And it was just great. It was just good. I love the spot in early 3D. Like, there was just so much happening. And I was just like, man, this is just as great as I loved it as a kid. And I was equally upset when Edge and Fisher still won. Yes, I know the outcome was happening, but I thought they did the least. And they won. They did the least.
I feel like that was always like Edge and Christian. Like they always found a way to win to the point it was annoying. It was like, do anyone not know these guys' game plan? Like it's almost kind of annoying. I love that you mentioned that spot because I always laugh. I remember like they would do like not behind the trailer or behind the scenes or anything, but they'll play back some clips and you see the way how Bubba gets up. Like he's just, I feel like Bubba was already halfway off the table and Jeff didn't even jump yet. The way he ran, I love the spot that you mentioned about Matt Hardy taking the fall. Chelsea Green took that spot, I want to say last year's Money in the Bank. Because I do hear what you're saying, because you said not in the crowd. I'm just thank God he didn't hit his head on the barricade because that spot looked gruesome. One of my favorite spots is it's nothing major, but I love it because Jeff Hardy's wiped out. I feel like he was wiped out for a good, I'm gonna say like a good 10 minutes of the match because he was knocked out for a period, right? But there's a spot where Jeff Hardy crawls back in the ring and JR's like, oh, Jeff Hardy's alive. It's just almost like impassive. Like, oh, look at this guy. Look, this guy's still going. And I loved it because I felt like the way the camera shot it is kind of how I liked it. Like almost like you just see, like you look in the corner of your eye and you're like, oh, that's Jeff Hardy because you just think he's out of the match completely. And that's why even the King and JR are like, yo, you're on your own, Matt. The bubble bomb, man. Yo, I don't know how there's a few spots. I do want to touch on another thing that you mentioned, but like I don't know how anyone like agrees to take that because my ass hurts seeing that. And then the Jeff Hardy leg drop. I mean, thank God that these guys were in their early 20s because Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy did. Jeff, I think, in his late 40s, Matt in his early 50s. They ain't doing spots like that anymore. They ain't doing that. They're like, nah, we don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, no, this was a fun match. And I mean, they were the North Carolina, they were the hometown heroes, the Hardys, and the crowd was behind them, wanted them to win. I really, really wanted the Hardys to win as a kid. Edge spearing leader, and this is the part where JR says, "You son of a bitch." And the King said, "Did you hear that?" No, JR asked, "Did you hear that? Because you heard that thud." And then the King said, "I heard what you said." He said, "Well, I'm sorry." It's just like, no, you're not. No, you're absolutely not, dude. But yeah, no, this match, I think after this match, there was nothing topping this match, honestly. So I totally agree if you say this is match of the night. There was really nothing else that could touch this. And also, too, just to throw us out here, too, as well, you got to remember, we're looking at this match and 25 years later, and there's been a lot of crazy ladder matches for sure. But when you think about 2000, this was innovative, you know? Like, this was something so different and whatnot, to the point that the following year, they did it twice. WrestleMania 17 in that episode of SmackDown. But Easy, please take the floor. What do you got here? What did you think about this? Tables, ladders, and chairs? Oh, my.
Well, just to back up a little bit about the TNA and the Dudleys coming back. I was watching that clip and I remember the crowd was like, "Where is Devon?" And I remember in my head, I'm like, he's probably at home with his grandkids. Like, we don't need to keep seeing these past their prime wrestlers come back and have these one last matches. Like,
oh my,
it sucked for Goldberg. It's most likely going to suck for Bubba and Devon. Like, let them, they did it and it was great. We loved it, but leave it to the young guys. This is a young man sport. This isn't golf like you're playing wrestling until you're 70. So I think Devon and Bubba, and maybe not Jeff and Matt so much, maybe, but definitely Devon, let him stay at home with his grandkids, and just enjoy, his glory days. We don't need another Bubba and Devon tables, ladders, and chairs match at TNA. But anyway, fast forwarding to the SummerSlam. I thought this was a great warm-up match for the TLC match that was coming later. It was definitely
the TLC match. This was the actual. This was the
another
actual.
No,
that was that was a ladder match. You talking about WrestleMania?
Yeah, coming WrestleMania.
The following, this is one, and that following WrestleMania was TLC 2. So this was already the warm-up.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. So the ladder match happened first, and then this one happened. And then TLC 2, right? Yes, you're right. But yeah, I love the chemistry with these guys. Edge and Christian, the Dudleys and the Hardy Boyz. Rich King said that everyone's favorite Hardy is Jeff, but it's really Tom Hardy. I really
he had that in his back pocket. You had that in your back pocket.
I really enjoyed of course the chaos that was in this match. Ladders, tables, and chairs. Everything was just on point with the spots, and everyone was getting to their spots. Everyone was taking their bumps, going through. It was ladders everywhere. Everyone was going through tables. It was chairs. People getting headshots. It was great. It was a great match. It was the most entertaining match of the night. I think this was the match was this the match that everyone gave them a round of applause when they were walking backstage, or was it the ladder match? I don't know if you've seen that clip.
Say that one more time.
So I remember I seen a clip where a lot of their peers were giving them a round of applause backstage when they were coming backstage.
Oh yeah, that must have been a backstage kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm saying that. I don't know if this was this match that they did it, or was the first ladder match, but either.
Yeah, I remember one time they did it, and I feel like that was WrestleMania 16, but I'm not too sure actually.
Okay, so I mean, this was definitely a match for the times to remember. I think Bubba, that was great how Bubba was like, I'm not taking another Swanton bomb on this table. I'm not doing that. So he got up, and that was great watching Bubba get his revenge on Jeff with that. Edge and Christian winning was not in the cards for me. I thought this could have probably went to the Dudleys or the Hardys, but whatever the reason the creative team wanted them to win, that's their reasoning. But it was a very entertaining match, man. I wish it lasted a little bit longer.
I think it's amazing because when I look at some of these matches, I just didn't realize they didn't go that long. But they gave this one some time, 18 minutes and 36 seconds. Right. Wrestling, I think one of the things I've learned watching wrestling for a long period of time, and yes, there are times where I'm like, booking wise, man, I don't think this made sense, and it's malpractice and all that stuff. Now, granted, do I think the Hardys should have won in their hometown? It would have been a feel good moment, 100%. Yeah. Looking back at it now, personally, I don't mind sometimes wrestling breaking your heart. Like, and it's happened to me. Like, this, even at this age, sometimes I'm like, are you serious? Like, and I've gotten that, but Edge and Christian getting the dub here. And I loved what something Rich King said when he was saying, like, even now when he watched it back, he was like, I still wanted the Hardys to win. Like, he was upset that the Edge and Christian. And I love stuff like that in wrestling where these guys, they were heels. They were heels. They were nothing cool. They weren't cool heels. They were heels. They did slimy ways to win. They said, we're prettier than you and all that stuff, right? I think that when they do stuff like that, I'm like, man, these guys did their job very well. I feel like there was some follow-up I had to something that you said here. But yeah, no, I didn't mind it. Edge and Christian get the dub here, 18 minutes and some change. And I also think, okay, that's what you were saying. You said about the time. So I don't think they had a hard shutdown at 11 because I'm sure this was 8 to 11. But I also think they gave you enough so that when you had the next TLC, like what kind of craziness can they do in the follow-up? Because I feel like if it's been any longer, I think I don't know. I think if you give you don't want to give too much to your audience, is what I'm going to say. That's how I want to word it. I don't think you want to give too much.
It was so good. I wanted more. Yeah,
that's fair.
Couldn't get enough of it.
And
That's why
that
we almost got 3 of them. That's how good it was. What did we get?
well,
4?
well, technically, I mean, we've had plenty more since, but like that. So 2000, we had one because I thought that WrestleMania match was a TLC, not realizing it wasn't. It was
No, it wasn't
a lot of match, and they brought all the stuff in there to make it seem like a TLC. But TLC 2 was at Mania 17, and then you had that SmackDown. That was the SmackDown after Triple H got hurt, and Jericho and Benoit defended their tag team championships against Hardy's, Dudley's, and Hardy, Dudley's, and Edge and Christian. I'm sorry, I had to think about that real quick. Okay, he's back. I wanted to make sure. I'm glad he's back too, because this match right here. Oh no, let's add him on. He's back. What's going on, sir? So the next match we got here, this is the 8th match. This match don't even go long, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. I just want to take the floor here real quick here. I mean, there's nothing to really dissect about this match. This was a match of its time, its era, however you want to word it. It was the Cat with Al Snow, and she went against Terry with Perry Saturn. I do remember that pairing. Terry Perry, I mean, okay. I didn't care for this. I'm not going to hold you guys. This was nothing to be excited about. I get it. Once again, it was a match of its time, and this was for those guys in the crowd that was going to drool and stuff. But, 25 years later, I'm like, I'm so glad that women's wrestling has evolved, and they're giving women time and realizing. And a lot of times, with these women, I mean, look, they wasn't like trained wrestlers. They were eye candy. And I say that with all the respect in the world. But I'm so glad like now women are getting time. And I was just going to mention how a lot of times in today's wrestling, a lot of the women, sometimes their matches are better than the men. This was not one of them. This was just something so people can drool. But I digress. I don't have anything else to really talk about this match. It was a stink face match, for God's sake. Like, Easy, what did you think about this?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this was one of those we gotta fill the card. We just need a match. Let's entertain the perverts of the world at that time. The teenagers and the middle-aged guys. It just wasn't a match that was, like I said. I think I said this the last podcast that we did. I think I said it's one of those matches you go get popcorn, you go take a bathroom break. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a wrestling's dream match. It was just more so for like horny guys that just wanted to see women in panties and bras. So it wasn't much to this match. I don't really have much to say about it either. So yeah, I'll give the floor to Rich Kings.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make it unanimous. I would just be brilliant and short. It was just a waste of time. I think it was how to bring Playboy to life or whatever they were trying to do, but it just was not it.
This was a Jerry King Lawler dream match. That's what.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, he was in heaven.
He probably wrote this match in. Who knows?
There was a spot at the end. I'm not even going to repeat it, but I'm just sitting there saying, "Oh my god!" Like I said, I'm such an advocate for women's wrestling, and I'm just so glad that it has evolved. That's all I'm going to say. I really like that it's totally evolved because. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. I think we all made our feelings felt about this match. So we had a singles match of The Undertaker against Kane. It ended in a no contest. These guys went 7 minutes and 33 seconds. I just want to sit here and say I love the reason on why Kane turned on The Undertaker. Like, there was really no reason. Like, you see Kane, he choke slams Undertaker once and then does it again. He goes to the ring. And then he goes and says, "People ask me why I turned on The Undertaker. I turned on him because I'm a monster." I was like, oh. Well, that was straight to the point. I don't know. I just felt like there was no ingredients in it. It was just like I just felt like it. I'd rather him had said that.
Right.
I mean, this wasn't no technical masterpiece. These guys brawled. There was punching, a lot of punching. Undertaker wins because Kane refused to fight because Undertaker wanted to rip Kane's mask off. Now, JR said, to be honest, I just didn't see it. If you guys have seen it, please, excuse me, please correct me. But he says that Kane was bleeding. I couldn't see that at all. I was like, he is? I can't tell. But he rips off his mask, and I want to say this was the first time Kane got his mask ripped off. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I mean, it was no DQ. I think they just want to have Kane and Taker go against each other again. And it's funny, a few months later, they team up again because in 2001, they were teaming up again. This is in August, so I want to say January or something like that. They're teaming up again. But yeah, the saga between them continued. But Rich Kings, please take the floor. What did you think about this match?
It wasn't really like a match, like you said. It's more of a brawl. Like it didn't end in any kind of decision. Like the mask is taken off. It is what it is. I think at the time as a kid, like we wanted to see what came like under the mask. So we're like, that's Paul's here. Like, can we see anything? In hindsight, looking back at it now, I think it was one of the worst matches on the card, to be honest with you. Like, what was going on? And then to fast forward a little bit again, like, I do not honestly think that was honestly Undertaker's theme at that time. I thought it was Roland.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Roland. It was it had to be Billy Kidman.
Maybe it was Billy Kidman.
I'm not Billy Kidman. I'm sorry.
Kid Rock.
Yeah. I thought it was Kid Rock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it was Kid Rock. You're right. And because just looking at the attire, what he was wearing, none of that stuff, man.
It didn't match up. Yeah.
So this the match itself, like, or the brawl itself was okay. It was a nice way to set up the main event. Honestly, like, okay, let's just get this tussle over with and just transition to this triple threat match. But I heard it was back to back, like, snooze fest for me after watching TLC. What about you?
I'm talking about you, Easy. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that this was one of the worst matches Kane and Undertaker had. They had a plethora of matches. This was definitely on the lower end of them. You guys consistently said this was more of a brawl. This was definitely just a blow up. This was definitely just a fury of punches. You know what I mean? It's two monsters throwing bombs. There was really no. We didn't see at this point how many Taker Kane matches did we sit through up to this point.
A few.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, what more can you surprise us with? Taking off the mask, I think ruined Kane. They should have kept the mysterious there, the mystique. So I hated that. I didn't really like. I didn't like the attempt of it, but I don't think that was the first time that he'd done that. I think he has attempted to take off the mask before. If I'm not mistaken, Kane had like black makeup on. So it just was something that was kind of was like not an L for Kane, but it was kind of disappointing. But I watching Kane and how he was just a huge guy, he just was a monster, really. So anytime I get to watch Kane come out, his entrance, his uniform. Did he debut the tank top at that time too, the fiery tank top? Because I remember. I think prior to like the SmackDown, he had on the full
the one
sleeve.
Yeah,
the one sleeve, and I think then he came out with the tank top, and it was like, what? I thought this guy was all burnt up. Now he looks like
a human, right?
Yeah, his skin is all nice and shiny. Like, come on, man. So I think they didn't really do Kane justice. This was just another example of it, because guys, I'm a Kane fan, and so I just really think that this match was just another filler. Like, let's just fill the card. We know what people are coming to see. They want this TLC match. They want this triple threat. So we gotta fill the card. So Kane, Taker, get out there, and you guys are vets, dude. Well, Kane was 2 years in by then. Well, he's still a vet because he was a bunch of.
No, he was there for a while. I mean, the character, 97, so 8, 9, 3 years. But prior to that, he had other gimmicks. So pretty much, boys, because I do have some sound clips and soundboards and stuff. So what you're saying is the last two matches we were like this.
I definitely.
That's just. I thought about what you call it. I do want to sit here and say we were talking about the match and how not the match was so good, but I do want to sit here and throw out because we're looking at this at I won't speak for you gentlemen, but you look at this stuff in 2020 25 eyes, right? The Attitude Era was just so over. A lot of all these people on this card was over. So like I'm pretty sure, like looking back,
I'm pretty sure the Attitude Era, right?
Yeah. Attitude Era didn't really die. They say like once WCW died, went out of business. Yeah, I want to say that's when a lot of people. Some people say 02, but I would say in 01 after they took out WCW, I would say like, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I can always be. I'm always open to being corrected, by the way. So if you're watching this video, please tell us that. That would be cool. Let's get into this main event. I'm going to start with you.
Just real quick, for the respect of Kane and the whole mask thing, I'm going to just take my mask off, man, because this is I love my guy Kane, man, and they did him so wrong, man. So
he took the mask off before the main event.
Yeah, let's get to the main event. This is the steak and potatoes. This is why I'm here.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you the floor here first, here, because I don't really have high. I mean, I think the match was horrible. I just felt like it was about the story more than the match. But I'm gonna give you the floor. They gave this match 20 minutes and 11 seconds. It was a triple threat for the WWF Championship. I just want to plug into this real quick. It was a match that was on Raw where Triple H and Kurt Angle pinned Chris Jericho. I laughed because earlier we talked about how Trish lost to a military press,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like Rich King said, "Well, it's almost like just falling off the turnbuckle and you just get pinned." They pinned Chris Jericho from a double back suplex. I said, I think they just said, we have to end Raw right now. You just have to lose this way. Because I just thought that was ridiculous, like looking back at it, but whatever. And anyway, there's this triangle going on. Curtis kind of feeling. Listen, she's still pretty. I do want to throw it out there. Stephanie is still pretty. But back in the day, I remember just being like, she is so mean, but she is cute.
This is peak Steph.
Oh, she was a doll, man.
Well, especially with that all black on, the black leather pants. Man, I sound like JR right now. But yeah, man.
Hey, don't do that to JR. You sound like the king.
The king. Sorry, the king.
But no, she's very, very pretty. But Kurt Angle was feeling her. Triple H is starting to notice this. Push back a little bit here. They show also too where Triple H got caught with Trish, which was hilarious. It's amazing when you think about these storylines. But anyway, all this stuff is going on. And Rock is meanwhile just like, I just got to defend my championship. You guys have the issues. So I'm going to give you the floor first here, Easy. I can't call you Jason anymore. Easy.
Yeah.
What do you got here?
Man, this match could have really been a Kurt versus Triple H match. That's how much drama they built up to this point. You know, The Rock was the man at that time. So, of course, he had to be in it. But this could have been a Triple H Kurt Angle match. With Stephanie as like a guest referee or on Kurt Angle's side or something in his corner. But I really enjoyed this match. And this match, I think, shows it's a testament to the professionalism of these guys, because the way I didn't realize that Kurt Angle had a real concussion. And the way that, watching it, a couple of days ago, watching it and as a 36-year-old man, I'm like, you can see them really calling the spots for him. He said this on the podcast. He's like, yo, these guys were calling spots for me. I had a real concussion. I didn't know what the hell to do anymore. So you can see The Rock saying stuff to him. You can see even Earl Humner tapping him like on his shoulder to pop out before he gets to 3. You can see Triple H actually saying, like, as he went through the table and hit his head, you can see Triple H kind of like over him a little bit longer than he should. And you can tell now in today's time, like, oh, he was kind of like checking on him. So it just shows to the professionalism of, how great these guys are. We didn't notice it at that time. I don't even know if, because we were younger, but I don't even know if adults at that time noticed that they were calling spots for Kurt Angle. But just back to the entertainment of the match, it was a good match. I think I didn't understand why The Rock came out like a couple of minutes after they was already wrestling. I thought, everybody had their interest and they get right into the match. But for some reason, The Rock came out a little later. Other than that, I think Stephanie definitely getting hit. But, Kurt Angle ducking the punch and Stephanie taking a hit was entertaining, and then getting hit with the sledgehammer is always scary. Like, I always try to figure out how you're going to pull that off, getting hit with a sledgehammer. But, they finally. So watching The Rock retain that title, it was the right move. Kurt Angle definitely, I don't know if he was planned to win prior to the concussion, but I don't think he could have won after that. I don't think he knew what he was doing, like he said. But definitely The Rock retaining his title. It was a fun, entertaining match. I think those 3 guys definitely held their own, especially with Stone Cold being out at the time. So I definitely give that match about an 8 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Rich Kane, please take the floor, sir.
Yeah, like to answer Easy's question here, like why did The Rock come out? That's strategic. Listen, I'm seeing my behind back there. Listen, y'all got the problem like we said in the beginning of the card. Like y'all keep fighting. Let me come in and get a quick 1, 2, 3. That was a strategic plan. But like you could tell when Triple H was about to hit him, he's all right. Now it's time for me to come out, right? So I think it was all playing into the story, which was pretty good. Or maybe it was maybe that moment where he probably did get concussed, and they're like, "You need to come out here right now, like come and save this because this ain't working." Because after when The Rock came out, obviously it was The Rock never really went and attacked Triple H. So I think at that time there must have been some type of communication. I mean, Kurt Angle, and there must have been some type of communication. He's something's really wrong with Kurt because the medical people are out there, and he never really physically assaulted Kurt at all. If you remember, if you look back at that match in the beginning pieces, he just was going at Triple H, and knowing how The Rock is. He's attacking Triple H. He's attacking Stephanie. He's attacking Kurt Angle. But that kind of protection right there was like more like, let's get this on. I think what's also was fun and funny about the match is like Triple H is still attacking Kurt on that stretcher, and he's like trying to take him away, and The Rock had to save him again, which is kind of weird for The Rock to save anybody. So that was kind of funny there. So I think the match had like I think what when I think about the match is it kind of played to the theme of what we saw at SummerSlam. A lot of outside the ring action, and then back we bring it back inside the ring, which was pretty good. And then Stephanie, Mellon bringing Kurt back into the ring, the trip of The Rock, and then pulling him out, that kind of stuff in the triple threat match that should happen. So I think they gave us all the elements. It probably would have been a better match if all participants would have been healthy. But I think for someone that was concussed, he still did a pretty serviceable job inside the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can top what you guys said here. I know the Kurt Angle concussion kind of slowed things down a little bit. No, I don't think Kurt Angle was ever destined to win it. I think he was always destined to win it at No Mercy. I want to say he won it at, and like the match was fine. I mean, the story here was Triple H and Kurt Angle's love triangle with Steph and Rock, like how you guys was mentioning. Like, hey, that have nothing to do with me. I want to say the first few minutes, because like before we were getting ready to record, I was watching a little bit of the match back, and I want to say the first 5 minutes of the match, Kurt Angle, that like he's going to go for the pedigree through a table and the table snap, and that's when Kurt Angle is all out and everything like that. Shout out to Kurt for even still going,
Well, I think they told him he needs to get back out there.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah. From what
probably did.
I think he said that.
Yeah, that might have been. But I mean, the match was fine. Rock gets the dub here. Rock's the man. You send the crowd home happy because they wanted to see the Rock win. I mean, anytime you heard "If You Smell," I remember a lot of times when I would go over at Rich King's house and spend the night on a Thursday, and we would watch SmackDown. That crowd always went crazy for when you hear that. So like, yeah, the crowd goes home happy, and Triple H. And I would even say like Triple H goes on this point a little. I want to say. I don't know if it was that Monday or the Monday after, he kind of goes on a little babyface run thing because, I remember like something about China talking to him, and then something happened, and then Tess revealed that he called the cops on him. So I think this was a little thing where, if I remember this all correctly, like because he had a small babyface thing, and then totally turned heel when he attacked Austin when Austin was and that I forget if it was October or whatever, but he attacked Austin. I remember that much. But that was the show. I thought SummerSlam was fun. I think that was a great pick. One Rich Kings. This was his pick, so shout out to you for that.
Real quick, where was Vince at during all of this?
So he lost to The Rock at King of the Ring because I thought that too, and I was like, man, where was he? But I remember him. He lost to The Rock because remember it was that 6-person tag. It was Rock, Rock, Undertaker, and Kane against Triple H, Vince, and one more guy. I forget. I think it was Shane. And Vince he goes for the Vince's elbow. I always thought the Vince's elbow, it was such a mockery. And The Rock to get up, rock bottom, and you see Vince try to kick out. He does it was always so comical. But that was the last time we saw him, man. I don't know if he was on that following Raw, but I know after King of the Ring, he was gone for a bit. And he came back after he got tired of Mick Foley being the commissioner. So
do you think he was written off, or he had an injury or something? Or
I'm pretty sure he was just written off. I don't think he was hurt. I think he just wanted to take some time off. I think he was like, okay, I did my part. Because he came back at a little before WrestleMania 2000, and then he stayed. And I forget if that was March or April,
Right.
but he comes in and then he leaves around June. And rightfully so, because I mean, you don't want to take away from your superstars. Like, yes, Vince was a great heel, right?
Right.
But yeah, we're still trying to focus on, Triple H, and then you're building Chris Benoit, and then you're building up Kurt Angle. I'm trying to think of another heel. I mean, they turned Kane heel at that point. They haven't turned him yet, but Kane. Trying to think about who else was like a heel on that roster, that they were trying to put in that high position, that high,
Yeah.
But that is the show. I think that we covered everything. It was a great show once again, gentlemen. We're gonna upload this. This is a recording, so when this is uploaded, let us know what you think. This is the Big Pop Theory podcast. We have an audio podcast. We're trying to do some YouTube content. So if you like this, hit that like button, follow, hit that subscribe button. And I mean, if you have any thoughts about, hey guys, it would be cool if you guys reviewed this or something like that, let us know, because we'll put that in the docket and we'll try to do themes like for August SummerSlam. But if you have a random episode Monday Night Raw, maybe even Nitro, we talked about maybe putting some WCW content on here, and I think that would be hilarious. Especially that 98, 99 period, even 2000 was kind of wild and funny. But yeah, hit that like button. I mean, you want to follow me? Well, if you want to follow Big Pop, it's on Instagram. It's the Big Pop Theory Podcast on Instagram. We're also on Twitter. It's the Big Pop _. And you're watching this on YouTube, so you already know it's the Big Pop Theory Podcast 23. And you can find me on Instagram, mostly on Instagram. So if you want to chat with me a little bit, I am Bad Guy Jack. I am Bad Guy _Jack. And I'm on Twitter too. I occasionally tweet there if you want to see me. EZ, where can people find you?
The Creative Genius Group. I'm on Instagram, also randy.sauce on Instagram.
Sassy.
Yeah. Right now, those are the two places you can find me at. Or you could find me in Tampa, Florida, at the comedy show. Sometimes I do some. I'm just joking, man. You can find me on those two things. So
I was about to say, like, I didn't know that. I was just saying, we're learning something new. Learning something new on this recording. Rich Kings, I know where to find you, but where can people find you, especially if they want to talk some? I mean, we're talking wrestling, but you're kind of a genius when it comes to wrestling, baseball. Yeah, you have this infinite knowledge. Where can people find you if they want to chat with you?
Oh, you're in the Big Pop Theory podcast, and yeah, that's it.
We need to. Me and Rich King's got to talk, man. We gotta. Great Slam Pooba brought up baseball, so
Well, maybe I could
be the mediator.
I
would love to do that.
He threw out a very strong word, genius, twice.
Well, his nickname for this show is the smartest guy in the room, and I'm sitting here.
Well, now that I'm here, second smartest guy in the room. So
I'm still sitting here, dude. But that is the show. Please let us know how you feel about it. Tell us what your favorite moment was from SummerSlam 2000. And let's do it again, boys. So with that all said, everyone just wave goodbye. Wave goodbye. Goodbye.